All right. All right. Hello and welcome to InvertiCast. I am Leah from Tarantula. And of course, we have Simon from the Mantis Garden. And today we have a special guest. We have Britain Kitten from the Creature Courage experience. Hello, Britain.
Hello. Hi. So glad
Hi,
to be
Britain.
here.
Absolutely. It's so wonderful to have you.
I'm
Oh,
very happy to share my knowledge and spread the spider love.
yes. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right. So I will go ahead and start with what is Creature Courage and what do you guys do?
Okay, so Creature Courage is a day-long boot camp to get people over their fears of animals, utilizing several different proven methods, phobia fighting techniques based in CBT, NLP, hypnotherapy, imagination exercises, art therapy, building fascination and compassion. And we just put all these different things together because different things will resonate with different people. And then after we teach people all these different tools and techniques that not only address the animal phobia, but also general anxiety, because if you think about it, you can't hyper focus on one area of your anxiety and say, oh, I'm going to develop a really good habit around that trigger, but then everything else, I'm still going to have a bad habit, and then expect your phobia to stay away. So that's why we give people the knowledge of not only how to address the spider phobia or the animal phobia. Most spiders are the main things that we treat, but I treat all animal phobias. But it helps people overcome lots of different anxieties in their life. So the value of the course goes far beyond just the animal phobia. And so after we do all these techniques, we then do several hours of immersive therapy, gentle exposure, because this is the only way to actually get someone to change. They have to actually do the thing they didn't think they could do. And basically we're getting people over their fears in just one day.
That's incredible. It's just awesome. I love it. So, Simon, did you want to chime in with another question?
I don't have a question, but I'd love to see a cure me. I mean, I can handle true spiders, but I can't handle tarantulas. It's a specific thing with me. I don't get it. I don't understand why. I'm also scared of sharks, but I'm never going in the sea, so it doesn't matter. But tarantulas terrify me, whereas true spiders, even though they're more dangerous, don't.
So a house spider doesn't bother you?
No, normal spiders don't bother me. It's just tarantulas. It's just
oh my gosh,
hairy tarantulas. I can't stand them.
Very unique case for me, because it's complete opposite with everyone, because most animal phobias are based in the unpredictability of the animal. So animal phobias really aren't usually a fear of the animal per se, but actually the true root of the phobia is being out of control. And animals are a very good metaphor of being out of control, aren't they? Because they're animals,
definitely.
they're unpredictable. So yes, it'd be interesting to work with you, and probably really easy, because tarantulas are just like big derpy, like, I don't know, puppy spiders.
I love that.
Spiders. You've got to meet Peaches and Beyonce and Ninja. Yeah. They're lovely. They'll just sit there like rocks, you know.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I love you said big derpy doggy spider.
Yeah, labradoodle spiders.
I love it. So you did mention that you use a lot of different methods. So what methods do you use, and which method is your favorite, and then which method is like your client's favorite?
So the client, it's a real mixed bag, because like I said, different techniques will resonate with different people. So one of my favorite techniques I do is it's an imagination exercise where I wrote this story where someone closes their eyes and they become a spider, and I take them through like a life being trapped in a spider's body and living a day like trapped in a human's house, and all the scary things someone might go through, or a spider would go through, and nearly dying and being chased by pets and being almost squashed, and really getting people to see it from a different point of view. And I've had a lot of clients cry after doing this exercise. And I was really surprised, because like, oh, it's just a story. But some people get so invested in the story, and they're like, they break down, because like, I've never saw it this way. I was so focused on me being afraid. I didn't realize what they were going through, and it's building that compassion. That's my favorite thing, is seeing people turn from seeing it as something scary and horrible to actually feeling compassion and empathy and all these wonderful emotions for something they used to hate. I mean, most of my clients are getting them to call spiders cute by the end of it, when, you know, before they're like, oh, disgusting. And then like, they're like, oh, look, he's being quite cute. I'm like, ah, you just said it. You just called it cute. Like,
I love that.
yes. But yeah, as I said, we're utilizing a lot of different techniques because the people I kind of imagine like a tool belt. Okay, so you're drawing on different techniques that people can utilize when it comes to that immersive part of the therapy. It's all based in neuroscience. Why I have this high success rate? Because it's based on the science of the brain. This is how the brain works and how it operates around fear. If you have that understanding and you understand how that part of the brain works, so the amygdala, which I call the caveman brain because it's much easier to say and it's a much more nice metaphor for what it is, our primitive survival techniques. So yeah, I just utilize all these different techniques, and different people will just draw to different ones, but that's what seems to, I don't know, I've just cracked this formula of curing animal phobias, and it just seems to work. Most therapists will work in like, oh, come see me for this session, and then next week see me for another session, and so on. But I don't find that really effective. I think just doing this 1 day boot camp, and it really gets people over the most of their fear, and in the sense that they're actually handling the animal they're afraid of by the end of it. Most people think, oh, I didn't think you could do it 1 session. But that caveman brain will change very quickly once you take action, okay? Because the more you avoid, the more you're reinforcing to that caveman brain, it is a real threat. So that caveman brain always wants to be safe than sorry, right? It doesn't really care if that's a little threat or a big threat, or if it's just a non-threat looking like a threat. It's going to play it safe. And then it throws a tantrum. Do what I say. I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm going to make you sweat. I'm going to make you feel physically unwell, cry, all these horrible things. And you give into it. And it's like a small child or like a dog having a tantrum, and you're giving into it. But that's not really a good place to be led around by, right? Like you need to be in control. You need to make these decisions. And so I give people that knowledge, that awareness, and how to get in control of their caveman brain, and then just being willing to push through that discomfort and welcome those uncomfortable emotions. And then once you do that and start taking action, doing the opposite of the caveman brain, then the brain's change. It actually learns very quickly. It's like a switch just flips over. And people are like, suddenly they're holding it. It's like, just stick out your hand. Don't overthink it. Just stick out your hand and do it. And they're like, and they do it. The spider walks across their hand. And they're like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
And then you just see it change from fear into fascination, and that caveman brain starts learning really quickly. And then you can start that process of changing the brain. And then I work on different techniques with unpredictability, because that's a big one. So once a client gets really comfortable with the spider, like, oh, I'm fine with it. I'm like, okay, now sit in the bathroom. I'm going to you're going to look at the wall, and I'm going to put a spider behind you. And that's when their fear starts kicking off again, because they're like, oh, but I was like, you were just fine. You were holding the spider. You were fine with the spider. But it's like, it's really that unknown. It's the uncertainty, being out of control. That's the core root of the fear. So I've developed lots of different techniques to deal with that as well. And I think that's the real thing. It's not just having a spider in this very controlled situation. It's about being able to let go and deal with a spider in an uncontrolled situation as well.
I really love what you said about telling a story from the perspective of the creature. So in this case, obviously, spiders and tarantulas. And I think I would be crying too at the end of it, just because I love these creatures. But I love that, because that helps to kind of place a person into a situation that's unfamiliar to them, and kind of takes them on an entirely different adventure, if you will. That's really quite fascinating.
It's really powerful. It is actually really powerful. I was surprised when I did the technique. I didn't expect it to affect people as powerfully as it did, but it does really touch people in profound ways. Another technique we do is called silly spider, where we change a spider in your mind into a silly creature, so you can imagine it with like a funny costume on, and imagine it dancing, and then kind of watching it dance to funny music. So it's another meditative. So you can like, and then you give it a funny name. So like my
How
last client
cool.
named her spider Sparkles. And then when you're actually seeing the spider, it's like you then turn that spider into your silly spider, if that makes sense. And you remember that good memory that you had with that
Absolutely.
silly spider. So there's lots of imagination techniques, lots of CBT, NLP, hypnotherapy, like I said, art therapy. We draw the silly spider afterwards. I have a little printout that they can use so they don't have to draw it from scratch. But so yeah, there's a lot of a huge variety of techniques that people use, and
It's incredible. I mean, going onto your YouTube channel, I mean, you have so many testimonials. It's clearly you're right on, which is fantastic. So I love that.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I have so much respect for what you're doing. It's just fabulous.
Can
I have
just
a big
ask,
yeah, go ahead.
when you're doing the thing where you get people to have spiders walking across them, have you ever bitten anybody? Or have you ever spit hairs at anybody? Or is this just like house spiders?
Nope. So in the UK, we have this lovely spider. The common name's a house spider, as you know, the big leggy ones, and they are like tarantulas, like the labradoodles of a spider world. Perfect therapy spider. They have very low venom anyway, but they've never bite people. I don't know what it is. I don't know why any animal would put up with this, but no matter how much you poke it, capture it with your hand, play with it, it just puts up with anything and everything. I've been doing this for nearly 10 years and they've never bit anyone. London Zoo has been doing something similar to what I do for nearly 30 years now. Never bit anyone.
Wow.
So they are a very tried and tested spider. They have incredibly good natures. And yeah, so they're the ones that everyone are afraid of. So this is perfect because they're big and leggy. They move super fast. So they're like absolute perfect therapy spider. And then the tarantulas, obviously every tarantula has its own kind of personality. So all my therapy spiders are grammostolas. That's the only species I'll use for handling.
No,
I'm really passionate. Yeah, they're all right, but not as good as the Grammys. I'm passionate about my Grammys. I've got 12 different species of grammostola. I'm like
amazing.
very big into my Grammys, and mine are like, though I have 3 or 4 main handling ones, and they're like kittens or little puppies. They just sit there. They've been held by thousands of children. I use them because they've never kicked hairs once. They never shown any threat posture ever. They're just like the most good-natured tarantulas ever. So yeah, I've very well-behaved spiders. Very well-behaved spiders.
I would agree. I think the grammostolas are a little more well-behaved than my Aphonopilmas. I have a grammostola pulchra, and her name is Darth Vader. And I've never seen her kick hairs or anything like that. She actually is probably a good. Yeah, I mean they're just fantastic, and of course she's gorgeous because those black velvets,
big and black.
Yeah. Yes.
Can't be a pulchra. I've got a little pink. I have a grammostola Mal and grammostola Concepcion, and they're like kind of a pinky color. And so peaches and apricot, and they're like one of the first one I have people hold because they're kind of smaller and they're just really cute and pink and fluffy, and it's like you can't not like them. they're just adorable.
Heck yeah, I love that. That is just wonderful. So okay,
yeah, I have a really big passion for spreading love for these creatures because they are very misunderstood. And I think they're doing so much good for the world as well. Like I teach my clients how without spiders, like life on Earth would just be hell. They basically eat 400 to 800 million tons of insects, and that's equivalent to the weight of the entire human population, if not double, which is even like an unimaginable amount of insects. And if they weren't there, these insects would be in our bed, biting our skin, crawling all over us, maggots everywhere, like corrupting, spreading diseases, like eating the plants. Crops wouldn't grow. It would literally, civilization would collapse. And it's like, oh, save the bees, save the bees. But it's like, also save the spiders. They're just as important. And so I help people fall in love with creepy, crawly, and misunderstood animals. I love all the weird animals. I don't own a single normal animal. All my animals are weird. Like the
Amazing.
mammals I have is a sugar glider and a skunk. No dogs or cats for me.
No dogs. I love that. But
I'd like a skunk. Yeah, I really would like a skunk or a raccoon. Yeah.
Skunks, raccoon, I wouldn't recommend. Skunks,
no.
100%. They make really good pets. No, raccoons go vicious, and they're no longer like technically legal anymore in UK. But skunks are like pooping teddy bears. That's what I call my skunk. He just sleeps in bed with me, like literally in my arms all night. And he's like a hot water bottle, and he's just lovely, fat, and squishy, and just So yes.
Oh, that's adorable. I love that. I do have normal pets. I have a dog and 2 cats, and obviously my tarantulas. But yeah. So okay. So my next question is, what got you into being a therapist? Like, how did you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
So they say do what you love, and obviously I'd like gotten into spiders in a big way.
Mhm.
I started with the house spider. I saw it and I just fell in love with the house spider, and I was like, I want a tarantula. So I got a little versicolor at the time. And then it just kind of took over from there. And then I got into like the scene. Do you go to the shows, Simon?
Yeah.
Yeah. What next week? Yeah.
I'm going to Brighton next. That's the next show. So I got into the scene. I got in with all the traders or the sellers, and I'm actually Creature Courage is the only business endorsed by the British Tarantula Society.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm really good friends with the chairman, Peter Kirk, from the British Tarantula Society, and through him, I asked him, can you come and see our business and what we do? And he just was crazy about it, and he loved it. He even worked for us for a short while, like helping to do the handling and stuff. And so I just got into the scene in a big way. And sorry, I'm ADHD, so I'll ramble a bit.
Oh, no, you're absolutely okay.
But yeah, do what you love. So I love spiders, and I have sort of a creative background and also a background in doing group therapy and helping people. So I was like, I want to help. And I loved animals. I've had exotic, weird animals my entire life. So it's like, I didn't want to breed animals because I just felt like there's enough animals out there and it's hard work that cannot pay off, basically. So I was like, what can I do? Oh, I can help people get over their fears. And I took my idea from London Zoo, and I went on the London Zoo course. I was like, wow, I could massively improve this. So I kind of took everything that worked from the London Zoo and then massively expanded it, especially on the psychology end of things. I actually get a lot of their clients who it didn't work for them. They'll come to see me. I tried to form a collaboration with them, and Peter Kirk from the British Tarantula Society even said, hey, you should, like, they're really good, but oh well. But yeah, I got the idea because loads of people were like going to the London Zoo, and I was like, well, clearly there's a demand to like cure spider phobias.
Yes.
But they do
absolutely.
these huge like 40 people at one time, and I don't find that really effective. I do just one person 101 day boot camp for 8 hours, so it's a much different approach. Yeah, much more personalized, much more, okay, this person, I'm going to just completely focus on you and get you to where you need. So yeah, so that's kind of how it started, really. It just came, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and so I just had to find that place where your skills and your passion and everything just intersects. You have to find that place where you can make money, something that can make money, but also something you're passionate about. And because your heart has to be into it. Running your own business is freaking hard work. It's going to take your all. You're going to have to work like 7 days a week. You know, there's been many years of my life where I just took breaks to eat dinner and bathe, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's really hard work. Huh?
And you got to bathe?
I did. I don't give up on my baths. Always once a night. That always happens. So, but it's paid off, and Creature Courage did become quite successful. As you had several media appearances like Good Morning Britain, ITV, Sky News. I worked in partnership with Chessington World Adventures for a while. So yeah, now I'm even getting international clients, and I've expanded my business because of inadvertently become an anxiety expert doing all this. So now I'm doing anxiety life coaching for people as well, because there was such a need for my clients to expand the wider scope of their anxiety. And so now I'm offering coaching, which at least that's a way I can help people internationally, because I can do that, online. So
truly amazing.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, after you, Simon. I apologize.
What? Oh, you didn't have to. Well, it's just delay, isn't it? You don't know who's talking. What is it I've got then? I mean, what is it? You say you've got anxiety. I don't think I've got anxiety at all. If I see a tarantula, my first reaction is, you know what I mean? Get the shovel. It's not run away from it. It's get the shovel and squish it. That's how I feel about tarantulas. Obviously, I can't because of my wife's pets. So I have to. It's very uncomfortable sort of being around them when she's feeding them. And it's not an anxiety, because I'm not like, it doesn't bother me at all in that way. I just don't like the look of them. It's not a fear of them. I don't like the look of them. They're horrible.
So for you,
school dinners or something, I just don't like the look of it, and I don't want it.
So I mean, for you, Simon, is that more of a hatred thing, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I used to keep spiders when I was a kid. We'd catch them and keep them, some big evil garden spiders we've got and everything. And then I think it was an episode of Doctor Who where it was great big, and they were superimposed house spiders, British house spiders, but they'd made them like as big as a human. And I was only small then, and after that, I couldn't cope with the larger spiders like tarantulas, etc. So it was like come directly from that. It's a bit weird.
Well, I mean,
I want to squash them. I don't want to run away from them.
Well, I think the litmus test is like, can you hold one?
No.
Then you have anxiety. Like, for instance, I feel deeply uncomfortable around human children, but if I had to hold a baby, I could hold a baby. But so there's a difference between extreme dislike or hatred and actually fear, because if you can't actually hold it, that means there is anxiety. And you mentioned the word of being like uncomfortable while she's feeding him. Like, anxiety doesn't reveal itself in like always the most obvious ways. People think like, oh, phobias is always this obvious extreme phobic reactions or sweat, crying, like, and a lot of my clients will think, oh, I'm not really anxious person, it's just this. And then I go through my little caveman talk and show them all the little ways anxiety rears its head when we avoid things, when we procrastinate, when we're comparing ourselves to others, perfectionism, control issues. And there's lots of little subtle ways that anxiety, the caveman, pokes its head up. And unless we start becoming aware of the little ways, the little anxious responses, they're just tiny ones, and we do little, what I call safety tactics to avoid. We appease the caveman, and it's in these little subtle ways. And until we start recognizing them, being aware of the caveman and how we appease it in all these different ways, then we're not going to get over the bigger things that are more obvious. So if you can't hold the tarantula, then there is an anxiety. It is a caveman ruling you in that particular area of your life.
I just don't like them. I just think they're horrible. Hairy.
Well, we've got to work on that, don't we?
Right. I've been working with, for months now. I've been picking at him.
So ugly. Like, give me a jumping spider, no problem. You know what I mean? They're so cute. But tarantulas, so ugly. I just want to, put it on my hand. I need to go. That's great. That's how I like it. It's just awful.
Let's spend a day together, Simon.
Yes, I think so. I
just don't. I can't cope with any other bug. Yeah, fine. Centipedes, no problem. You know what I mean? And they are scary.
How can you like centipedes more than tarantulas?
I know.
They're like one of the most horrible bugs of all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love all inverts, but they are so nasty.
Yeah,
like the way they eat is like.
Yeah, if you give me the option, tarantula or centipede, I say give me the centipede every time. Every time. Not a problem. Tarantulas.
Yeah.
I think you need
You're
peaches.
you guys. I love it. I love it.
I've got the same thing with cats.
Yep.
The absolute same thing with cats. I cannot stand cats. I love all animals. Cats, can't stand them.
Is that also like domestic cats, big cats, all cats?
All cats. Every kind
all
of
cats.
I think of, I just look at them and I think, wow, that is an ugly creature. You know what I mean? It's just like, horrible.
Okay.
Just
More
you've got, I think, yeah, Britain. I think you've got your work cut out for you with Simon here.
I'm going to get cancelled now because I don't like cats, because everybody likes cats. You know, I was like, oh, they're awful. Like even the memes where the cats come up, I go, get out of the screen. I don't like it. They're ugly.
You're
ugly
a strange soul, Simon.
My biggest nightmare would be a cat with 8 legs.
That would be like.
I mean, that's a tarantula.
That's like my dream pet. That's my dream pet.
Yeah.
No, you can have it. I'm fine. Well, I'll send it to you. I
mean, my nickname is Britain Kitten. That's my artist name, actually. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a very cat-like person. So.
Awesome. I love it. Just absolutely wonderful. So, sorry, before we get too off track, so what would you say is like the most prevalent cause for any kind of phobias or, animal phobias and whatnot? You did say that uncontrollable unpredictability aspect.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, this answer is kind of boring because it's things that we learn quite young. We're only born with 2 fears, and that's the fear of falling and loud noises, and everything else is learned. Some people think like, oh, well, surely something like spiders must be innate. Not actually. But the unpredictability element about it is something we learn quite quickly to fear. Because if you think back when we were a caveman, anything could hurt us. Unlike other mammals, we're quite vulnerable. We're quite soft and squishy, and we don't have fangs or claws. We don't have poison or venom or a hard shell or wings to fly away from. We can't even run that fast compared to other animals, see, hear, smell as well as other animals. So how the hell are we like at the top of the food chain? Well, our intelligence. So we had to have a pretty strong fight or flight fear response to stay alive, because literally anything could kill us. Our survival brain doesn't care if we're happy. It doesn't care. Honestly, there's a part of your brain that is actively working against your happiness, because all it cares about is that you're alive, alive long enough to pass down your genetic material. Job done. Doesn't matter if you're stressed out every single day of your life. So it picks up on things from very early on, and we learn phobias either from our parents or from experiences early on. Like, oh, you just saw, as a small child, you just saw a spider dart out in front of you very quickly. As adults, we don't think that's that scary, but as a child, that was terrifying. And there's like a little trigger made in your brain. And then next time you see a spider, you're like, and then you just make it a conditioned response. It gets bigger, bigger, bigger. Or we model it off of our parents, which is, a lot of my clients are getting that from their children. That's why I say, if you have children and you have a phobia, please get it over, because it's going to pass it on to your kids more than likely. And it's not a very fun thing for people to have, that extra anxiety. Spiders are unpredictable. They can appear anytime, any place. So this puts people with spider phobias on edge quite a bit. So yeah, that's basically, it's just part of our survival brain trying to be rather safe than sorry. Because we, as cavemen, we didn't have any medical care right there. Like one little spider bite or one little scratch can get infected, and that's it. We don't survive. So it's playing super, super safe. Unfortunately, you've got to retrain it to understand what's not a threat anymore.
Wow. Yeah, that's so cool. It's really amazing, because I believe over here in elementary schools, they call the caveman brain, they call that like either using your lizard or wizard. So you've got your lizard, like what you're saying is that caveman, and then the wizard is being able to kind of overcome that and move past it. So very, very cool. Very, very cool.
That's our prefrontal cortex, the wizard.
Yeah.
which is
Absolutely.
actually our true selves.
Mm.
We have to think of our caveman as not who we really are. We're not defined by fear.
Mhm.
And so many people start identifying as the caveman and they don't know how to separate that voice out. And they kind of see themselves as these, almost shamefully fearful people. And it's like, no, that's not the real you. It's just a survival instinct that's been trained to be hyper vigilant. We just have to retrain it. But your true
Mhm.
self isn't that part of you. And so it's about, like you mentioned earlier, Simon, like liberating people to get their lives back, get in control of their emotions again.
Absolutely. I mean, your passion for tarantulas and the creepy crawlies and stuff really comes through in your work. It's very, very clear that you really do care, and I think that's really, really amazing and respectable, and I'm here for it all the way.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So another question that I have for you was to kind of like walk us through a day in the Spider Courage experience. Like what kind of things? You did say that it's very personalized, but just kind of a general overview of what that actually entails.
Yeah. So the first thing I do is an anchoring technique
Mm-hmm.
to give them a resource of courage straight off the bat. So help them create a new condition response for fascination and courage that they can continue to reinforce after our work together. Then I do a talk on building that fascination and compassion, dispelling myths about spiders, and pointing out all the amazing things they do, interesting facts, because like compassion and fascination are really key to getting over the fear. I
Mm.
don't think people will get over the fear unless they're willing to open themselves up to having that compassion and just interest in that animal. So we work on building that up. Then we do that imagination technique that I told you about, where becoming a spider. Then the next section is all about the wider scope of psychology, about educating people about their caveman brain, different techniques around how to handle their caveman brain, looking at the wider scope of their anxiety and where their other triggers might lie, so they can start practicing, confronting the caveman brain in those areas as well, and just being more aware in general. And then we do the silly spider with the art therapy, and we do the hypnotherapy, which is a really good thing to do right before the immersive therapy because it really chills people out.
I can
as
imagine.
well.
Do you use the hypnotherapy yourself?
Yeah, I'd use hypnotherapy. All the tools that we teach, I practice and preach in my whole life. Like I
Wow.
live what I teach to everyone else. So I know that it works on a personal level, not just what I'm teaching to others. I never had an animal phobia, but I had to overcome a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, and fear and depression in my own life. So, if I can be a functioning, healthy human being, so can anyone.
Absolutely.
So
Totally understandable.
it's all possible.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we finished up the day obviously with the immersive part of the therapy, where like there's loads of different techniques of exposure to get people, and particularly aimed at dealing with the unpredictability and getting situations to be less and less controlled so that people can deal with that core root of the fear, which is being out of control.
Amazing. Very, very cool. What do you think, Simon? Do you have another question?
I'm just thinking, I'm checking everything on board that she's saying. I'm going to actually try it myself, because as you know, my best friend is an hypnotherapist. He's a really good one. He's got awards up to his wazoo. So, he must be good at it. He's never done it with me because he can't. But I'm going to take on board what you said and what he said and the things like that and see if I can. I don't think I could touch one, but I could possibly be less repulsed by them, if you know what I mean. It's because they do repulse me. They're just like vile creature. So I'll take your bits on board. I might even draw a silly spider. I don't know yet, and just see how close I can get to one without actually touching it. I don't want to touch it. That's all. But I'll try it. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I would say if you work on that compassion end of things, seeing things from a different way, just seeing it as a creature that wants to live like anything else and just wants to exist like anything else. And every creature, you can feel a sort of connection in that way. So just work on it that way. And as I said, I'm always here for you if you want the proper full session to get over that for good.
I think one of the problems is I actually see spiders. When I can see a spider out, I see them as lunch for my mantis. So I don't have that compassion. What you're saying, I'm looking at them and go, "Oh, look, free lunch," because they love spiders. So I just throw a spider in, and that's great. And that's how I see them. So I look at them. I have knowledge of spiders, like everything you mentioned so far. I already knew. So that's not the problem. But the compassion part I'm going to struggle with because I just don't see them that way. I think, oh yeah, okay, you're annoying. That's basically what they are to me. They're just annoying.
Start seeing your fear as annoying, not them.
Yes. Change the mindset, and then you change your mind.
I mean, like I have compassion. I mean, even for the crickets and the feeder roaches, I have deep compassion. I feel very bad every time I have to feed my spiders. I like keeping that connection of, this is a living creature and I am sorry for its death.
I have compassion towards the crickets and the locusts and everything else. In that way, when I'm feeding them, like, it upsets me to feed them, even though I have to do it like hundreds of times a day. I actually get very upset feeding them.
The roaches is the worst.
I don't do dubia roaches. I give up. I now have a box down here which is pet dubia roaches because I got them with the intention of feeding them to the mantis, and then they thought, "Nah, you're too cute. You're not going."
I love roaches.
I love
roaches.
But yeah, spiders, no problem. Get off, throw them to the mantis. No big deal. Don't even think twice. It crossed my mind.
Okay, well,
go on a journey of compassion. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Well, do you have a favorite species of tarantula or spider in general?
Well, Grammostola Mao, which is the Chilean gold fluff, probably my favorite. Hardcore. Beautiful. As I said, I'm hardcore Grammostola fan. I have loads of them. My collection's slowly turning into just Grammostolas. And I'm a pretty big tailless whip scorpion fan.
Very cool. Okay.
I love how they look like the stuff of nightmares, but they're really so gentle and cool. I have a therapy one called Muffin, and like after people hold out spiders, I'm like, here, now hold this. And he's just like, looking scary. And he's so gentle and sweet, and he just sits there like, flipping his little like antenna legs and just, I don't know. I love them. I love them for how freakish they are and weird looking they are and just fascinating. And Muffin's got Crumpet pregnant, and I'm super excited about that.
Oh, beautiful.
That's his girlfriend. You can like literally see the eggs in the belly. It's like so disgusting yet precious all at the same time.
Awesome. What species is Peaches? Because I feel like Peaches is like she's kind of your. Is she? Oh, beautiful. I was curious about that because I while I was watching the video from Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan, which awesome. How cool was that? But in any case, I was watching that and I'm looking at Peaches going, what species is this? Like,
yeah, it's quite rare. I think there's maybe 10, maybe 15 max in the country, and I have 2. So
wow,
there's not a lot of them.
How'd you get so lucky to get your hands on that species?
I'm just determined, and I know all the breeders.
Beautiful.
Was it Tim Baxter who got at
you?
Was it Tim Baxter that got at you?
Is it? Sorry, say again.
Tim Baxter. Did he supply you scorpion?
From which company?
No, Tim Baxter is one of the breeders. He is like the UK's biggest scorpion breeder, which is.
Oh,
He's pretty cool. You have to look
A
him up
lot
on
of
Facebook.
a lot of my stuff, like I got before the Polish left and now everyone else left because Brexit.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But I'm friends with, like, you know, Venomous. I don't know if you know Venomous Visions. Like he
Yeah.
Tony,
Tony.
he only
Tony,
lives like 10 minutes away, and we hang out all the time, and he has a lot of connections as well.
Yeah.
I'm friends with the guys at, you know, at the spider shop. I'm
Lee.
friends with Portsmouth Tarantulas. I'm just friends with all, like, most of the people on the scene. So if I want something, I go seeking, and I usually find what I want. I'm a pretty determined individual, so
That's really cool. I love that. I think that in the invert world and like getting what you want, it definitely takes that degree of determination. So I commend you for that. That's amazing. Very cool.
But keeping spiders as a hobby is also kind of like very frustrating, because you can spend a lot of money and put a lot of effort to acquiring a rare species, and they can just randomly die for no reason.
Yeah.
Or not any understandable reason. And it's so frustrating. You're just like, oh.
We need more research into why these things happen. I've been saying this, like somebody said that scorpion died today, an emperor scorpion. And I said, is it old age? She said, no, it just randomly died. Everything is set up correctly, all the temperatures, and it just randomly died. And it's like, I hear that so many times, especially spiders. I get it with the mantis, and they're just like, they look fine one day, next day they're dead, and you think, what happened? What changed? So there must be.
You do also
research into.
I do. I always try to look and see what's going wrong, because obviously you don't want any more spiders to die, and you want to get things right. So
absolutely,
it can be a very frustrating thing, though, because you can think you're doing everything right, and then
and unfortunately, I always kind of chalk that up to like, well, it happens in nature that way as well. Like they, have in all actuality, spiders and tarantulas are designed to have so many babies in one egg sac because, half of them are going to die.
what's also frustrating is also bad molts. I lost one of my big Grammy females over a bad molt, Grammostola actian, and I had to, like, I think it was a wet molt, and I literally performed surgery, got her successfully out of the molt, thought she was out of the clear, like she was fine for like a week, 2 weeks. I think she even ate once, and then she just died like about 2-3 weeks after the bad molt. And I was like, no. And then I have them where they get the fangs mangled, and you have to almost teach them that you can eat with the mangled fang. And actually, sadly, Peaches has got a mangled fang, and she's like not a fighter really, because she's super passive. That's why she's a handling spider. One of my other Grammostolas, she had a twisted fang, and I taught her to eat again, and she's fine. She's eating with the one good fang. Peaches still has one good fang, but I'm worried about her because she's not like, she doesn't got that fighter spirit. She's like this really passive animal. So I'm really worried, and I can tell it's bothering her because she's just acting a bit weird, and she gets all uncomfortable and like standing up weird, and because it's kind of twisted and like on her pedipalp a bit, and it's bothering her. And I hope she just makes a connection that you can still eat with one fang. But she's never been like a really, I hate tarantulas like this where they just barely eat. And you're like, why don't you eat more? And they just like, I'll eat, 4 times a year, and that's it.
Yes, that's like
it makes you so nervous because you're just like, just eat, just show me that you're healthy and you're happy and like everything's good.
It's like every Aphonopelma ever. For sure.
I'm a little bit nervous for Peaches. Is she still, she's molted not long ago, and we'll see how it goes, but I just force fed her a mealworm today, so I'll see, which is not fun.
Yeah. Oh, well, my thoughts and prayers are going out to Peaches.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. So, do you have any advice for anyone out there who wants to overcome their phobias, and any advice as far as like first steps, what you should do?
Well, the first thing is, stop. You have to accept that when you need to do the thing that you didn't think you could do. That's the only way to get over the fear, because caveman brain doesn't learn by rationale. It's not connected to our rationale whatsoever. So you can't convince it. You can't just sit there and Simon, you probably can't convince yourself trying to rationally, just hold the spider. It's not a rational thing. So it's about taking action. That's the only way to train that caveman brain, and just accept ahead of time that I have to sit through the tantrum. It's not going to feel nice. Caveman's going to have his, just imagine a little kid kicking off in your head, making you feel uncomfortable, but you're like, no, you're not going to be the one in control anymore. I'm going to be the one. Okay. I'm going to sit through this, and we're going to get through it. And you have to push through that. And then that's you taking back control. And when you take action, that caveman brain is going to start to learn. I think the biggest thing to remind yourself is if I just listen to what the caveman's telling me to do, it's going to make it worse and worse and worse, because I'm reaffirming and teaching and making a conditioned response that this is a real threat and that I should really be afraid. And then you're going to have even more panic, even more horrible feelings. So just start taking action, being willing to sit through the caveman tantrum. And the sooner you take action, the quicker the caveman will change. And you won't feel all those horrible things anymore.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
And another method, I mean, it's like you say, you fix this and you won't feel all them horrible things anymore. If I don't go near them, I won't feel those horrible. I don't have a problem with sharks because I'll never go near them. So
yeah, but have you seen behind you? You're in deep, man. You're in the invert world.
This is a mantis. It's all mantis. I'm quite happy about this. Over there,
you're in the invert world.
In that corner, she's got a load of
this is your life.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, it's.
So unfortunately for you, this is not a shark.
No, but I wasn't expecting ever when we started the business. I wasn't expecting ever to have tarantulas. That was not.
Once you get into it, it's like it all happens. I have so many different weird species of bugs I never thought I would have.
Yeah.
It's just part of it. You're in the invert world. That's it, man.
Oh, I completely agree. I honestly never thought that I would be interested in keeping like millipedes and stuff. And now I'm all over it, just kind of looking like, oh, which millipedes are the best for beginners? Which ones are, So I definitely agree. Once you're in the invert world, that's it. It's kind of a slippery slope. You're in.
And you're going to shows and things and all of that. So it's like, and you said your partner has tarantulas?
She has tarantulas, yeah. I'm the guy who has these mantis, but she has bloody tarantulas.
So yeah, it's in your house. It's in your world. You can't ignore this.
She'll touch them, like give her up her arm. She goes, "Oh, look at you! What are you doing on my arm?" And I'm thinking, like, kill it. That's what my brain's saying. Kill it. Like, don't let that near you. What are you doing that near you? Kill it. It's awful. Yeah. But in summer, she was showing her mother, who came over to England, and she was showing her mother one of the tarantulas. And it came out of the enclosure. She has really long hair, and it ran up her hair and got tangled in her hair.
Oh, goodness.
And she's like screaming at me, "Get it out. Do you want to get it out?" And I'm like, "No." It lives there now. And her mother actually just grabbed over the tarantula and put it back in the enclosure. And I was like, I felt so emasculated at that moment.
Oh, goodness.
See, women had just taken control of the situation that I could not handle at all.
And that's not a value you want, is it? That's not a value you want to hold for yourself, is it? If there's a situation like that, you want to be capable and strong and courageous.
Oh no, I don't care about that. I don't dwell on things. That's not an issue. It's just at the moment it bothered me, but after I'm just laughing at it, and that's how.
No. I mean, but that's what I mean in those moments when you're not living your values, and that's the caveman. You can definitely identify the caveman when you're not living your true values of who you really want to be, because safety tactics are usually things of avoidance, and you can just focus on that, like, that's not who I want to be. I want to be someone who can be in control of my emotions, and I can take care of things and help people when needed. I don't want to limit myself. So
well, I could have taken care of the situation, but she wanted to keep the spider.
well, exactly, and there's no need to unnecessarily kill the spider.
I put a mantis near it, and it's game over. But she wanted to keep the spider alive, and that's something that in my head is like, why? Why?
Because we love them. Look,
we do
also,
love them, absolutely.
And also you can really work on the fascination end of thing too, because it's scientifically proven that fascination and fear are connected to the same part of the brain. So like a coin, you can really flip it over like a switch quite easily. That's why people are really drawn to like things like horror films, or I would say even like, I have a lot of friends who are arachnophobic, and so many of them, like, because I know I have a room full of spiders and bugs, but it's all locked up. They don't have to see them if they don't want to. But a lot of them are like, can I go see it? Can I go see him? I'm like, yeah. And then they go in. I know I don't push it onto anyone, but they're like, oh, you see it? And they're like, oh, can I get a bit closer? Can you open up the cage? And they're like terrified, yet they're drawn to it. And it's like, we are, it's a very easy emotion, because fascination is much more positive emotion than fear. So if you can just shift it into like being more fascinated, you can dominate the fear feeling with fascination. That's part of what I do in my anchoring technique, is help you dominate fear with more positive emotions, so you can start shifting the fear.
I agree with that. I found that once I was able to get past my fear of spiders and tarantulas, my fascination was just so overwhelming that I couldn't get enough of them. And I'm still like that. Like, the more I see of different species, the more I'm like, oh my God, I have to have them all.
It's like Pokemon, right? Got to catch them all.
Yes, most certainly. But I'm afraid it has gotten to the part of our podcast where we do our shameless plug. So I'm going to pass that on to you, Britain. Do you have anything that you just shamelessly want to plug? Anything coming up in the future, something that you're doing, whatever it is.
So I actually just did a big talk where I did the psychology of fear, but and I might be doing you have to watch the space, because I don't have anything particularly planned. But what I would say is, if anyone does have a fear, I'm doing some new things in the distant future, but right now nothing up and comings that's happening. But I would just say, if anyone has a fear, if you can get to me, please come. I will help you. It can be cured. Just it can't, so many people think that it can never be fixed, but it can be fixed. And I want to help you. I do. All I need is your determination. If you're like, okay, I'm at the point where I'm ready to do anything and everything to get over this fear. It's just one day, and it's like a plaster. Just rip it off, get it over with, and we can, short-term pain for long-term freedom. Okay. And it's not really that hard. It's actually a really fun day out, and you get to learn lots of fun things. You have a much more empowering day and fun day than you might imagine. So come get your fears fixed. And if you can't get to me, I can still do anxiety coaching from anywhere in the world. So I've helped hundreds of people deal with the wider spectrum of their anxiety. I can still help with elements of an animal phobia, and then maybe help you find a way to expose yourself as well to the animal in a healthy, good way, and also address your wider spectrum of anxiety, finding the caveman, and even and the little ways it whispers. It's like a personal trainer for the mind, no pain, no gains, helping you stretch your mind, build your muscles, get out of your comfort zone, but improve your overall mental health, to be happier and healthier and more in control of your emotions and not stressed out anymore, taking back that control. So that's what I would say. Come see me if you have a problem with anxiety, have a problem with animal phobia, please come see me. I would love to help you and support you. And watch the space. I will have lots of exciting things in the near future. I am doing an online digital course. So that will be happening in 2024.
Wonderful.
And I'm going to be doing a lot more speaking engagements in 2024 as well. And presentations, animal handling experiences. And you can catch me at any of the shows. I will be at Brighton. I think it's the 20, I can't remember the date of it. What's the Brighton show? Come on.
Do you know Simon?
Brighton Invert Show. I'll Google it real quick. But I'll be at the Brighton show, so you can see our stall there.
November,
Right.
you mean?
It's the 26th from 11 to 6 at Southwark Leisure Centre, Brighton. You can come see me there. And meet my wonderful. Are you going to be there, Simon?
No, because it's down south, so no, I'm not going to venture down there. No.
Okay.
Anyway,
Sorry, no.
That's my shameless plug. I'll get him one day.
Yes, you will.
Is where I cut the line. So there you go.
Yes. Simon, did you have anything you wanted to shamelessly plug?
Just this Invert podcast, really, and my channel, of course, which is the Mantis Garden. So that's it. And my business, buy mantis, buy loads of mantis. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. For me, my shameless plug is I actually have a sponsor on my channel, W Energy. Yeah, right. It's my very first one, so I'm very excited. But it's actually W Energy. It's an energy drink, but it doesn't use sugar or dyes or any of that stuff.
Awesome.
So it's all like vitamin based, and this stuff. It's all vitamin based, and the caffeine that they use is derived from the coffee fruit. So very cool. Gonna plug that, and then of course, Creature Courage and Britain Kitten. You are fantastic. Thank you so much for being on our channel. I truly enjoyed having you and being able to discuss, the fears of all creatures, really. And, just learning exactly what you do and how you help people. I think that's incredible. Very, very cool. Super kudos to you. I hope you keep doing what you do because I love it. And yes, hope to see you in the future.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. I really enjoyed the time. It was great talking to you both. And yeah, I'll come back anytime. And let's spread the invert love.
Always. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone who's watching. And if you liked what you saw, of course, like and subscribe. We will see you guys next time.
Good night.